Certainty is expensive. Ignorance is worse. The gap between what we actually think we know and the reality out there, that's precisely where we have positioned this show. Welcome to New Normal from the Week in Bahrain. Risk, reset, reality. 3 words which defines our life these days. Not a slogan, but a starting point. Well, this series is simple. It's about life redefined. It's about conversations that would tell us like what we are, where we are, how we are, and what this means to us. Global shifts daily life one conversation at a time. First up, auditing the future. We cut through the noise, no fancy talk. So as the regional geopolitics takes a change, what does that mean to you, your money, your future here? And in this discussion, we have the best in Bahrain with us. So joining me, Harish Gopinath, Head of Enterprise, KPMG, Jatin, Karia, Senior Partner at the Grand Thornton, and Nath, Venkitachalam from the BDO Bahrain. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining this very first episode of New Norm. And as I said, it's changed out there the past few weeks. Maybe 7 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks from 28th February, it has changed. So my first question is open to all three of you. What has changed? I would love to hear from you, not what the news says. Be honest, please. Tell us, like, what are the key risks that businesses are flagging off now? And yeah, what exactly has changed? Shall we begin with you on the alphabetical order, Harish?
Thank you, Raji, for the kind introduction. And it's an honor and pleasure to be here for this panel session, especially with fellow colleagues Jatin and Nath. So just to give you a perspective, see Bahrain, if you see the companies over here, around 90%, more than 90% of the companies are in the private sector. They're SMEs and family companies. Okay, so it's a very significant sector for the economy. And they contribute towards employment, towards the national economy. You know, it's a significant sector that contributes. Now, there has been an impact on various sectors, and the sectors mainly is tourism. You have logistics. Then various other sectors are impacted. Hospitality is also impacted, and indirectly other sectors, because these are all interconnected. So indirectly other sectors are also impacted. So what are the issues these companies are really facing? You know, so if you really speak to them today, what are they facing? One is cash flow issues, liquidity issues. Why? Because there's been a severe reduction in the volume of business in these particular sectors, and they're not able to collect money from their customers. So it's a double effect, you know. So they have cash flow and liquidity issues are happening over there. Then the supply chain disruption. So people are not getting what they want at the right time. So there's a disruption over there. There's also talent instability, mainly because, you know, the country depends on a lot of expatriate workforce. So that is also one of the issues. So these are some of the key challenges. And then what their commitments, they're not able to make their commitments to the suppliers. They're not able to make payments to the bankers. So these are all the issues that's currently happening now.
Yeah, that's just to begin. And Jatin, would you like to add to it?
Raji, I just want to add what Harish said, because when we try to evaluate the entire market, as Harish rightly said, most of the market is SME based market, and when we say that the business decision are always with the objective of the growth, with the objective of the hope, they do some investment, whether the capital investment or their business investment, thinking that my business will grow. They hire the people considering that the business will grow. Now, in last 6 or 8 weeks, that creates uncertainty in the minds of the business owners. So instead of the growth, now the question is more towards the continuity of the business, that how we'll be able to continue the business. Okay, so that's the complete shift in the mindset of the business owner in Bahrain. The recent decision and the proactive decision from the government are really welcoming, where they postpone 3 months loan and interest payment, the deferment of the loans and interest payment, because that will little bit ease in terms of their cash flow situation in Bahrain. Also the payment of Bahraini employee salary, including in the private sector, is really a good decision, which really help the business sentiment in Bahrain. Supply chain disruption, one of the key reason. I again add that we hire few people, but the people don't want to come now. Okay, we had a people working in the office. Now people wants to go because of certain concern and the question from their family side. So the talent is also again the key issue, which we need to manage. Now there are many options available, but the key risk what I see, in addition to the cash flow, in addition to the supply chain, the cyber threat is also going up. That's again one of the big area of concern. Recently few incidents happen in the market. So as a business point of view, they need to protect themselves from each and every aspects and from each and every side.
Now on a heightened level than the normal.
Great. So that's the reason I said, instead of growth, now mindset is more towards how we can continue, how we can survive the business, and how we can protect our business. So that's, I can say, shift in the mindset of the business in last 6 to 8 years.
Precisely. And thank you, Jatin, for touching upon the benevolence of the rulers, the leadership. Bahrain has always been excellent in that, it has always come forward. So thank you for touching upon that, especially the loan deferrals and the salary payments. Hats off to the leadership of taking the right step at the right time. And as you use the word proactive. Nath, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, thank you first of all for giving us an opportunity to express or share our views on from an expert or a finance sector side, or to the common people or the industries or entrepreneurs who are facing the real situation.
Yes.
Beyond the things that Harish as well as Jatin had mentioned, be it supply chain management, cash flow issues, talent management, and then the cyber issues that they are facing, some of the companies, especially the mid or smaller managed business, owner managed businesses, they were not ready with the technology that they were having.
Oh, okay.
So certain sectors got affected, certain areas got affected, wherein like you are not able to visit your offices, how to make their business continue. That they were facing disruption because of that. Yes, certain, like wherever you are facing a client fronting, yes, that got affected, that you cannot do anything. But the offices or even the part wherein you can do even remotely the work, to some extent they were ready during the COVID time, but were not upgrading their technology. That has actually affected their continuity. What we have seen, because we are dividing the entire clients, if we are dividing the entire business entities, organizations in the country into two sectors, one who are mature, the other one are like family run or owner managed business. The mature ones are more safer zone, the safer zone if we want to use that word, wherein they have their own business continuity plan or a disaster recovery plan. They know what to do, like in this type of situation, how to continue their businesses basically. So they didn't have much issue in terms of shifting to a mode wherein people are not physically available in their offices, they can continue to work. So that is the matured one. The owner managed business or family run businesses, what we have seen is they don't have these matured strategy. Like they do have a strategy, but they don't have the way of how to get it done. So now what we have seen is the owner involvement or the stakeholder involvement, be it directors or the owners, they themselves, they have started becoming more active into the day-to-day activities. So they have been more creating the short-term visions or strategies to see how they are going to sail through the situation. And as and when the situation is evolving, they were taking decisions basically. That actually has helped the entities which are smaller businesses to sail through it.
Great.
So we see that this is more to do with how you are you're prioritizing your issues and in what direction the company wants to achieve its objectives basically.
Excellent.
So that is how the owners have been seeing through this journey.
Great.
So what we see, Raji, is like what Nath mentioned, it's more of a reactive approach towards the issue.
Yeah, okay.
But what we would recommend is to have a more proactive approach and how they can have this into their strategy, into their goals.
Maybe this is a lesson, because this is quite unexpected.
Because these shocks will actually otherwise
precisely.
be quite
Yes.
hard for them.
Right.
So just to Nath, what you say, because we as a consultant and as a technology advisory team, we always go to the client and as a part of the BCP, business continuity plan, used to advise the client to go on the cloud. Now, considering the situation, majority of them needs to come to on-prem. So if you see the shift in the business continuity itself has changed completely. Is the cloud is safer, or having a server in my premises is safer?
It's safer, yeah.
That's a complete shift in last 8 weeks. Each and every decision is getting impacted. Each and every strategy which might have put in place few months before have a complete reverse solution in today's era now.
Many companies have plan A, but they don't have plan B.
Plan B, plan C, right.
So these are the things, as an entrepreneur, you would have thought about the short term, but in the longer run, when you're running a business, you need to be ready what if situations as well, which you would have never thought about would happen, but this is what we are, most of the companies are facing, especially in the region.
Another concern, Raji, for many of the family companies in such situations is, their wealth and assets, whether they protect it. Because they have a lot of these wealth and assets in their personal names, so which are not actually properly structured. It could be in Bahrain, outside Bahrain. So how do you really structure this and protect it so that it passes on? There's a proper succession for the. You never know what happens in such.
A very new kind of questions, isn't it? So as prior to the show, I've been telling you, like, this is all Greek and Latin to me. This field is totally new to me. So that's what prompted me to do this talk for a common person. And whereas for very simple people, who may not have assets, who may be just worried about their simple savings and things like that. So we would get into some nitty-gritties, like simple questions thrown to me by common people when I shared among friends and family as to, like, I'm sitting down with the best in Bahrain who would be able to guide us through these uncertainties. So we'll go into one by one, certain questions which came to me. So I don't know, you can take it as you feel. Okay. So one question which came was are we really facing inflation due to war?
Maybe I can take that probably.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. If you're facing an inflation, I will say yes, we are facing inflation. If you would study, even the recent article has been published by IMF. Okay, so now wherein they have said that an inflation, because of the turbulence or the economic blockade, there is a severe crisis that everyone is spending more. We're talking either from the government perspective, countries are spending more to have their fuel prices, be it LNG or crude, raw crude, they are sourcing from the region, especially this is the major area which is supplying 20 to 30% of the crude supplies of the entire world. So now they are spending to get their crude oil or the LNG, because there has been some disruptions also during that. So they are incurring more cost for that. That is one aspect from the company's perspective. So what IMF has said that because of this particularly headline inflation can reach up even up to 4 to 5% for the year of 2026.
Okay.
Wherein some countries have reported only up to an inflation of around 2%, it can go up to double that digit. And if the situation is going to continue for a longer term, God forbid, this can even cross a percentage of 6%. So that is the situation that we are facing now. That is from the country's perspective, because energy is essential for any economy to run. Any country cannot run without the energy. Most of them, they depend upon, especially the Middle East region, for sourcing their energy, whatever be the type of energy that they are having. So now that is from the country's perspective. So that is where the challenge is facing at the macro level, at the country level. Coming to the household level, be it the individual owners or the common man, as we are.
The food and the rent and things like that.
Now, if you are talking about, as you rightly mentioned, the one is the situation regarding the food and groceries, basically. That will have gone up. Yes, to some extent, governments have put in place certain curbs on increasing the price, but for the sourcing
still,
of this, definitely
if you look at the market, it's already up.
Because the supply, supermarkets or whoever be the the markets from where we are getting it, they are incurring more cost. Obviously, they have to pass on that to someone else. So the end consumer has to end up in paying that. So that is one sector. You talk about the rental. For certain sectors were badly affected, even within the region, depending upon where you are staying. So if you have to shift to another place, short-term rental have gone up to a significant level, basically. So now that is second aspect. Now third aspect is also travel. So travel rates, okay, yes, Many people have travel, as you were mentioning previously before this session. So they had to incur heavy costs from the normal ticket rates, how it was
Right.
there. The travel prices have gone up very
That's a
significantly.
major concern out
Exactly,
there.
yeah. Now, this also will have a ripple impact on the other sectors as well. Like talking from where the costs are going up. Say, for example, insurance. Like we want to insure certain things. Straight away, the insurance companies will say, because they are taking a risk portion, obviously they don't want to cover certain aspects, or you have to pay a premium for that. So the inflation is going to be having an impact. Now, to what level the impact is going to be depends upon how long is this blockade is going to continue.
Let's hope. Let's hope that it.
Let's hope that it is going to be not that alarming, and hopefully let us see that the discussions will
Come to a fruit. Yeah, that's one hope that with which we all wake up every day. So, in the introductory question, I think all three of you touched upon the small and medium enterprises, the small businesses especially. So, some of the small business owners had passed this question to me. I think I would pass this to you, Harish. What is your advice to small businesses now? Should they pause their expansion plans, or should they push it through?
I would say not a complete pause, nor a complete push through as well. So when they're planning to expand, because see, if you have a complete pause, then there's no growth, right? There's no growth that's going to happen. So, but before they make the decision of expansion, it would be better if they consider certain things.
Yeah.
Now, their existing business.
Things which they should really look out for to decide this.
First is assess your current business, which you're going to expand, whether that is sufficient enough to take care of itself. It has sufficient funds. Create a buffer so that in future, you don't have any issues when you have these kind of uncertainties happening. And then whatever excess funds that you have, you do a proper market study and do a feasibility study, and whether it makes sense to expand or grow into a different kind of area, and then you invest into that.
Okay. So watch out, look out for signs, see how stable you are, and then take a decision, right?
And then take a decision. And it would be better not to get into very capital intensive kind of businesses, because there the returns are very slow. So if you heavily invest into something, borrow a lot of money, then the returns are not.
Yeah.
I mean, with what Harish had mentioned, whenever you acquire a business, acquiring a business is very easy. But now you have taking a full responsibility of what you are buying for. So what needs to be done is a proper due diligence to be done, so that you know what you are entering into, so that you're not entering into a situation where, because someone will say something to you, you don't straight away believe in that. So you study what you are entering to. Consultants are there to guide you and help you with this.
Right.
Because you may be a good person in terms of how to run a business. You may not be that strong when it comes to the financial aspects, basically. So consult with your consultant who can guide you and help you in terms of knowing not only the financial aspects, there could be certain legal implications as well, basically. That also has to be one of the aspects as a checklist to be considered before making a final decision.
Right. Okay, great. Thanks for that great addition. Now I come to the next aspect of a mid-level professional, maybe Jatin, to you, like one with a family. Like, what is your advice to such a person? Who will you advise him or her to take up a new job or to hold on to what is existing? Is there? I know it can be a very simple, silly question, but then
it's not a silly question, Raji. It's a very, very important question. Whether you say
safe in this climate.
No, whether you say the similar question, whether it's related to the business or whether it's related to the individual, whether the person is a business owner or the individual who is working. Okay. See, any situation, I can say, prefer not to go on the emotions. Always you need to see your long term and short term objective. The situation is a short term right now. By changing the job or changing an employer will not give you certainty, okay, or the continuity or the confidence of continuity of the job. Okay, your skill and your ability is the key thing in the today's market. I personally believe that don't take any decision, okay, till the time you don't have the secure job offer in your hand. Don't take just the decision that let's leave because I am not comfortable, I feel some insecurity in my present organization. Considering or by reviewing the present market condition, we don't foresee any challenge in the economy, at least in the short term. Okay, we see the economic indicators are well balanced. Okay, yes, in the short term there are certain sectors will get affected, which is the hospitality. Okay, maybe the tours, travels, aviation related sectors may get impacted. But if we go back and see the COVID, how the COVID has reversed, it gives us the V curve expansion after the situation.
And just to cut you, but can we really compare COVID and this scenario? How do you run it?
I can say emotionally yes, the psychologically yes,
It is
because
similar.
It's similar.
yeah, that time also
That's a very positive statement because we've overcome the COVID scenario. When you experts say that we can compare, that's a lot of relief.
psychologically yes. So that's what my input to the professional people, the working class people. Don't take any decision based on their emotions. Okay, you need to secure the proper job before you take any decision. The skills and the capability will give you the certainty in today's age, not by just changing the job. Update yourself, upskill yourself. That's the key takeaway.
Great. Thank you. I'll come to you, Harish, again now with this question, specifically on loans. What is your advice in this climate? Holding on to cash, paying off, what is it smart move which you would recommend?
Definitely, you should save for any contingency, save for that. And if you have any commitments, it would be better to settle those commitments because, during COVID also, like we have just discussed, there's been a waiver of loans, personal loans and all. So there is liquidity that comes to people, but use it in the right direction. It should go in for settling your loans and don't try to expand because there's a lot of money available. You have that cash available. Don't just spend that, and try and save it. So once you have the buffer, then it's fine, Yeah.
And also, before we round up the second round, before we complete this, the reason compliance is like, the VAT or the tax and things like that, what are the implications that you would see from this angle? Jatin, would you like to take that?
Before I take this question, I just want to add what Harish said, and again go back and learn from the COVID situation, where there was a deferment, and the people who are collecting the money from the client, and they have taken the loan for the working capital, either towards their stock and receivable. Instead of paying those loans, they use for some other capital reason, and that has created a big chaos in the continuity of their business and future cash flow. So if you have a loan which is for the working capital, okay, you sold the material, now you are receiving that money from the customer, better to pay those loans because tomorrow you are not going to get that money, and but obviously you are going to get default. Right. Okay, so you need to plan what to pay, what to defer. That's a very key aspect, and it's very key important message to strategize yourself in this market. Going back to your question about the recent change in the compliance, the VAT, see the VAT is there 10%. It's like the normal market practice now. The people have accepted very well as a VAT. The government has come up with the 2025 1st January. We have a DMTT as well, which is the minimum alternative tax. The government has put as a DMTT, and that's also only for the big and the MNC, the multinational organization, which is not affecting the small businesses. Okay, people have there in mind that due to this situation there will be a more tax. There are many anxiety, there are many rumors. I personally feel that don't go on the rumors. See what the announcement come from the government, because they know the situation as well. They know that how it's going to impact at the macro level and the micro level, because they need to balance both. Let me be very honest. The CIT, the corporate income tax CIT has already been announced from January 2027. We have to just wait and watch that what will be a detailed framework will put in place. But if we compare ourselves, okay, with others, with the developed economy, we are less compliant, we are less tax. Okay, so we need to embrace this situation very well. And then just we need to live with it, because the authority is going to take, as I rightly mentioned, and again I am going to repeat, whatever the decision they will make, they need to consider the macro and micro impact both by charging more tax, how it's going to impact the economy. It's very key consideration, the decision they need to make. And how it's going to impact to the small businesses also, they need to take into consideration, and they always take that into consideration, they will take into consideration.
Right. Is there anything that you would like to add to
Maybe I
it?
will add to what Jatin had mentioned, especially as Jatin was comparing Bahrain with the other economies which are more developed. I agree with Jatin. Because now the other jurisdictions which are more developed have much more complications. Even the regulatory authorities over there, they are not that flexible. Because we see here, the vision of the government itself is to invite people to invest in
Bahrain, yes.
If you would see from the regulatory framework, the authorities have been very positive in listening to what the problems are being faced by the business, and that actually they also come up with solution. They listen to the owners and say entrepreneurs are facing a problem. Even take any authority, you're having a cash flow problem, they will listen to you. They say, okay, fine, you want to make it in installments. To that level, they are supporting. You are facing any non-compliance issue, you try to explain to them what is the real factor. Of course, it's the committed fraud. Obviously, you will have to face the consequences. But otherwise, it is not from an intentional perspective. They do listen to you, and they will try to support you to have a robust system of controls in place, so that actually it will help you to move your direction towards more channelized manner, so that you can focus on the growth and the administrative tasks are not pulling you back. So that is one of the advantages of having business being done in Bahrain, that regulatory authorities are actually listening to you, than compared to the other jurisdiction where the matters become very, very complex than compared to the region which is.
That's again very positive. And I think I've been here for quarter of a decade, 25 years plus, and I've seen this country so beautifully bouncing back in various scenarios, maybe because of this, this outlook, the proactive way, and this very generous way of embracing the community all under one umbrella, right? Now on that note, we'll move on to the next round, which is the ifs, the buts, the cans, and the coulds. This is a situation where we cannot do away without it, isn't it? My very first question is, I had a smile on my face, but then I have to ask this: if the war widens, God forbid, no, what would that mean for Bahrain, both long term and short term? I would again pass that to Harish.
Short term, yeah, well, let's hope it doesn't.
It is short term.
It is short term.
21st is the day.
Yeah. But some of the impacts on a short-term basis, you can see certain sectors like the tourism sector and all will be impacted severely. There will definitely be a bit of panic as well among the expatriate workforce if this continues, if the situation continues. There could be issues because everyone is trying to manage this situation on a short-term basis. So if this prolongs, it is going to be an issue for many companies. It will turn out to be an issue. That is on the short-term basis. But having said that, on a long-term basis, definitely we have seen the supply chain disruption and all. So we feel that there would be, there'll be alternative sources. So we will start developing, or Bahrain will start looking, the businesses will start looking into alternative sources on how do you get them locally as well. How do you get these? So there could be more manufacturing companies, more reliance on the local market than external market. Yeah, that is on a long-term basis, and definitely businesses will stop, they will pause and see how they can sustain for the longer term. Because managing on a short-term basis it's not easy. You need to see how can you sustain your business on a long-term basis. So definitely some models will be there. There'll be more of technology-driven kind of businesses. So those kind of things will definitely be there on the longer term.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. So obviously the next question would be, what if everything stabilizes? Which is a very positive thing, and which we all hope, we really hope. Which are the segments you think which would bounce faster? Nath, would you like to take it?
I'm happy to answer to that question, because this is what everyone would want to hear, and everyone would want to pray for also. The impact on that will be there's a situation which is currently that everyone is having a mindset, when is this going to end? And a positive news comes, as you rightly mentioned, 21st is the day.
Yes.
Okay, positive news comes, God willing. that it is chopping, everything is chopped, and then we are going back to normal. Now the impact is going to be on a timeline manner. So I will divide this into sudden impact, short-term impact, and the mid to long-term impact. Okay, depending upon the sector, because each sector is going to get affected in terms of the timeline wise. The sudden impact, as we discussed a little earlier also, is going to be on the travel,
The aviation.
okay, aviation industry, logistics. Many people are waiting for their supplies to come basically.
Yes,
So now these all are the two immediate sectors which is going to be having a sudden impact, where it is going to start just like that. As and when the things are like, you say like it's not going to happen, Hormuz Strait is going to open, like Oman Gulf is not going to be blockaded by anyone, everyone is going to have their like flow happening basically. So that is a sudden impact which is going to happen, which is definitely is going to help so many other industries also to revive their operations. So that is the immediate impact. Second impact in the category will be the short term. It will be impact will be in the areas wherever, because of the damage which has happened because of the current situation, obviously certain construction or certain be it development or certain maybe compensation or reconstruction has to happen. So that is one sector which is going to happen. There are certain sectors in terms of where the mega projects got stopped by the government because of the current situation. They were not sure. They were planning certain funds to be diverted for funding the war expenditure to protect their countries. So that will be again made available for these mega projects which got stopped. The construction is going to restart probably. So now these plus along with the certain sectors. So for example, there are certain industry which are supplying to the manufacturing sector. So for example, now there is a big fear that the fertilizer supply could actually affect the farmers. Because now the fertilizer supplies which are going to come from another region, which is not going to be happening because of the funding is not being there. If that is the situation is going to turn around into positive, that is going to actually help in boosting the manufacturing sectors. So all the supplies, raw materials and everything which is going to come to the manufacturing sector to restart their operation or resume their operation to the full scale. This is a short-term impact. So that will make the food availability of the goods and supplies to the pre-war situation.
Right.
Long-term impact is going to be again the sectors like travel, travel and tourism, especially to the region, plus the real estate. Now it all depends upon how soon are the governments will be able to give confidence back into the people who are traveling or who wants to invest. Another sector is real estate. Now, people had been thinking that I made a mistake by investing in the region. We never thought that the region will become like that. But once that confidence is brought back into the mindset of the investors, that actually is going to contribute a lot to make this economy start booming again. On the other aspect, I will say is the sector which is going to boom in the longer run is the defense sector. So now countries will want to say that they are not in a situation, what if a situation like that comes?
Being proactive.
God forbid, they are trying to have their own sourcing done in the longer run, so they prepare themselves so that in God forbid something happens. This is what they will.
I love the way which made us all laugh, that sector. Jatin.
Whatever is getting affected, it's not we are only one in Bahrain. Yes. The global problem is a supply chain disruption because of one reason. And not only us, most of the countries are facing this problem. So whatever our problem is the global problem right now, and the main reason is the supply chain disruption. Bahrain is 1.6 million population, and it's easily, I can say it's a manageable, not like other country where they have a big problems. Why we are facing all this issue? Because we were always in last few years as a center of attraction in the global mindset. The region was booming. Everybody wanted to invest in this part of the world. Everybody was saying that the opportunity is only in the Middle East. So that sentiments has got affected not only the regionally but the globally, and that's creating some kind of a disruption in everybody's mindset. But otherwise, if we compare as compared to others, the region has a great potential. That's what I see. And the situation what we are facing, that's, I think, for others it's worst than what we are facing right now. The authority, the way they are managing this situation, I can say is one of the best way they are managing. Absolutely. As compared to the other region or the other situation, the other countries. So that way we are well balanced and very positive.
Yes, and I think again, my heart wells with pride when I think of a leadership, because in the earlier days we saw His Royal Highness himself amidst the people, addressing the people, talking to them. So that kind of a leadership definitely would take the country a long way. Right. So, what about the retail sector investors? Jatin, you want to continue on that? What is your take on them?
See, whether when you say the retail sector investor, nowadays the people always focusing because the market was growing, the equity was always the target segments. Because of all the situation, maybe the companies get impacted, their profitability may impacted, they may start seeing the result, and the market has globally, market has shown some kind of a negativity because of the sentiments. Now in this situation, I always say that don't take any decision, okay, as an investor based on the short term opportunity or based on any short term fear or the anxiety. You don't just sell because the situation is bad, the company start doing. Go with the long term approach. Diversify your portfolio. That's a very, very, very important aspect. Okay, whether do I need to put in the commodity, that means the gold, whether I need to put something in the equity, whether I need to put something in the real estate, and go with the long term approach. See the balance sheet of the company, not just on the news that I know this company is going to do this, invest. Don't go on the sentiment, go on the fundamentals, diversify yourself and be bullish for the long term. That's what I want to say. It's a temporary situation and will sell through very soon.
Yeah, I like the very positive note. Every time you close with a positive note, and that's very encouraging. Coming to job security, though we spoke about various sectors which could bounce back, as you very detailed said, like short term, long term, the longest term, etc. How do you comment on the job security, especially in segments like aviation?
Aviation, okay. See, there may be challenges in terms of, because how long can you continue, when the revenues drop, and there are different situations. If you take a hospitality industry, it is also similar. The occupancies have dropped down significantly, but you need to have a minimum number of people to run a hotel, right? Now, how long can you continue without occupancy? So that's where the pressure comes on the employer. But what we would recommend is try and use the people in improve their skill sets, use them in different places rather than just making them redundant at any point. Make them improve their skills or do different ways, maybe reduce the working hours, ask them to go on leave, because the cost of bringing in and building up your team again is very expensive, and these are just temporary. So the moment you need to get into full swing again, it's very difficult to build up the whole team. So somehow try and manage. That would be our advice. But there would be pressure. Definitely there would be pressure. So probably from both sides, from the employee side and the employer sides, they may have to sacrifice a bit here and there.
Back from that answer of yours, Harish, would be the word temporary. Because initially, when I was talking a lot about this on videos, I used to use the word uncertainty. And that's when I heard one of the officers at the MOI, in his version, when they were addressing the public, he used the word temporary, which gave it a whole positive shift, Instead of uncertain times, these are temporary situations.
Uncertain,
Right.
yeah.
Because see, Raji, when you say the aviation and job, there are certain sector and certain skill. It's difficult to replace.
Yes.
Okay, especially in the sector which is the aviation sector. There are unskilled job. Every time they have the uncertainty, they can easily be replaced by anybody else. In this situation, they can get redundant. Okay, but there are certain skill job. They are always in demand. Irreplaceable. And the company will always prefer to keep them on the board. Best strategy, instead of just laying off, see how you can use maximum utilization of the people, and then just wait for the right time.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get them back.
question. We discussed about this, the VAT, possibilities of new tax additions due to the war. But then, Nath, I'll throw this question to you. How would you see this reflecting on the currency, especially in terms of expatriates? You know, we sent money back home, remittance, the currency fluctuation. Though you said about the war possibility of VAT, we discussed that. But the second part of the question.
So as we say, I don't want to be too technical. Of course, we are talking to someone like who is layman. If you want to say that like he's going to the mass, like they may not be that much sound in terms of the accounting knowledge or the financial aspects. I will make it very simple. US dollar compared to Bahraini dinar, like there is a pegging arrangement. So there are certain currencies in the GCC region, including Bahraini dinar, which is pegged to US dollars, United States dollars. Because of the current situation, during the current situation, United States dollars have retained their strong position. So having said that, if you want to say, take an example of Indian rupee, say for example, it has weakened compared to dollar. $1, how much US Indian rupee can have. So that has a direct impact of how much rupees you will get by transferring 1 dinar from Bahrain to India, say for example. That is also the same case with other currencies like Egyptian pound is there, Filipino pesos. Like some of those countries, they have depreciated because of the current situation. Now, it's a good news for the expatriates. I will always love to say this, that okay, now previously, like you are having maybe say 100 and when I came here, it used to be 110 rupees per 1 dinar. So now it has gone up. Even before the war situation, it was around 220 or
220,
something.
230.
It has touched a limit of say 250 around that range. So you have automatically become wealthy.
Okay.
So that is a positive news. I don't say the other aspects because from looking from the expatriate perspective, who do have a dependent family staying back at home, to whom like you have to support from over here, working from here. For them, any transfers made from here is going to give you more Indian rupee in terms of like how much you will be getting by transferring the money. So that is a positive news for everyone.
Yeah. So my next and the last question on this round, the ifs, buts, and coulds would be to Jatin. If I may ask you, like immediately post-war scenario in Bahrain, like what is that one edge that you would see in Bahrain in terms of investment and business climate? How do you look at it?
I feel I see many ages, not only the one age. See, the Bahrain, the way I have seen this country in last 20 years, the country is not making noise. Okay, it's giving the stability. Okay, the positive thing about the country is their regulatory aspect. Okay, the ease of doing business in Bahrain, the accessibility. When you attract the investor from outside, they don't see the growth, only the growth aspect in your country or in your region. They see how this country or the region will help me to grow globally. That's the mindset. Okay, why the people are going out of their country and investing in other country, because they want to expand globally. That's the key aspect. So all the tick box I can say this country provide: ease of doing business, the economical environment, the family environment. The people prefer to stay here as a family in this country. The global connectivity and the accessibility is there. We consider as a gateway to the region, okay, where people prefer to come and establish themselves here and then grow in the region as well. The recent development and the regulatory aspect, I can say the people and the investor are coming for the non-conventional business in this market, like a crypto. Okay, crypto is the business where people prefer to come to the Bahrain and grow globally. Okay, so I can see that post-war there will be a more attraction for this country. Anyhow, this country has balanced themselves for the non-oil economic aspect. They have diversified in the manufacturing field, they have diversified in the digital field, they have diversified in the financial field as well. So I feel it's a right place to come and grow globally in Bahrain.
Great. Just to add to that, there's something very warm and welcoming in Bahrain. Indeed. And it's a very inviting kind of place, So definitely there'll be a lot of people who would love to make this their second home and be here. People who have retired and will still continue living here. And the other from an economic aspect, it's quite reasonable to set up a business over here in Bahrain compared to the other
it's easy.
Yes.
Yeah, easier and more economical as well, because the costs are much lower over here. So generally the costs in Bahrain are much lower, and you get good Bahraini talented people also as part of the workforce. So that's also an added advantage for Bahrain.
It's a strange coincidence, whenever I have sat down with guest or guests, we always touch upon this point of how warm the country is and how people come here for an year. Incidentally, we were having that conversation right now. 1 year, 2 year, we're going back after 2 years, 3 years. You end up here for 20 years, 30 years, isn't it? And that beautiful usage, Jatin, I always use that in my videos as well. Bahrain does things very silently. Very silently and very beautifully. And it's that's a beauty.
So yeah, Raji, I was the part of our roads also to invest in Bahrain, where it has been done by the ADB and Grant Thornton India team in Grant Thornton as well, led by ADB, where the kind of the response what the people were talking about the Bahrain, because whoever are there, the CEO, the investor, they must have done the research about the country, about the region, and one thing has come out that we don't have any free trade zone, but our country itself, the entire regulation is a free trade regulation. So we don't need to have a zone where mainland and offline. No, the entire regulation is such where you establish yourself and you can easily do the business globally, okay, with the same regulation which you can do the locally. So the country has that uniqueness in the regulation, which people are start accepting it, start recognizing, and we have seen many new business wants to come and set up themselves in Bahrain.
Right. Okay. I want to come to the last few minutes of this conversation. Before that, one quick thing which came in my mind. What about stock market? People who are investing into stocks and shares. It just occurred to me. What is your advice to them as experts?
I can say you need to each and every volatility give you the right opportunity. Okay, so find the right opportunity, go with the fundamental company, because the pricing might be down due to uncertainty and the anxiety in this situation. Pick the right stock and have a long-term vision. So I feel that this situation might give you the opportunity to invest for the long term at the better price.
Would you like to add to it?
I will add to that, complementing him, what he said. I will say, whenever you as an individual assume that corporates have their different way of having a strategy, a common man may not be having that type of a vision or strategy. He will want to see how much I can maximize, like by investing in certain stocks. So what I will say is that have a simple principle. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. We always have heard this thing.
Yeah.
But have at least to have two segregation. What is the long-term ambition that you want to achieve? Something which can give you, like maybe this may be a strategic investment, as Jatin said, maybe a key stock wherein you are going to get, you will not have huge appreciation in a near future, but that will give you stable income.
Right.
So that is one aspect. So don't touch that portfolio. You can have the second aspects of the investment or value that you have, that you can invest in short-term investments. It can be in crypto, it can be in the stock market, which are going to have more technological advancements, say for example, because technology is going to be key in the coming future. So now in those type of stocks will show very aggressive growth in the short term, especially that can give you the appreciation. So that both can actually complement you to have a wealth that you actually need.
Great.
So have a basket, mindful.
You divide.
Divide a policy wherein you divide your entire portfolio into at least two categories. And again, don't go for only these two stocks only. Try and see if there is any other way, because Bahrain provides you much more good opportunity to invest in real estate, for example. The country, as we all said, country has been very stable thanks to his rulers, His Excellency Highness the King, as well as the Crown Prince. Their vision, actually the Bahrain 2030 vision, actually has helped in reviving the economy, wherein more expatriates are keeping this country as their own homeland. Basically, and they have been investing and showing that confidence. So that is one of the another positive way where you can think of investing. So try to have different aspects and see it from either both from the long-term perspective as well as from the short-term perspective.
Great.
That can actually give you the desired return that you are having, rather than sticking only to one.
Right. So we come to the last segment, and 1 minute each, 2 questions to all the panelists. The first one is on preparedness. So What is that one thing? Now we are going through a phase where we are talking of ceasefire or peace talks, expecting things to settle down. During this time, what is your advice to a common man in Bahrain? What can he or she do to be prepared? You want to go first, Harish?
For anyone, for an individual for that matter, best thing is have a checklist of, I would call it a resilience checklist. That is, what income are you getting? What are your expenses? What are your commitments that you have? Whether you have any loans, just have a check on all these and whether you are able to sustain this. So that is one aspect for a common man that you need to look into and try and save as much as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jatin?
See, we in this situation, we always say that the cost for the company and the expenses for the individual is the king. Okay, so how you can manage yourself? It's with the reasonable amount of expenses and the cost. That's the key aspect for the business and individual point of view. As a personal point of view, the authority is giving daily updates that what to do and what not to do. I personally feel that and request everyone to follow the instruction given by the authority, okay, in this situation, because they know situation better than us, okay, rather than sorry but using mind, follow the instruction in terms of the preparedness, that how you need to prepare yourself in the uncertain situation. As a business point of view, yes, you need to ensure that how you can reduce your fixed cost, okay, and bring the maximum efficiency in the business level. That's a key aspect.
Yeah, as we said, country is stable, and then we are looking forward that the things is going to come to an end. What you need to be always having is that this situation, because this generation has been one of the rarest of generation who have seen a very remote way of working of the COVID situation. They have seen the war, especially the people or kids in the region have seen that. So they know what to do in terms of if something happens. Always have a plan B. So don't stick to only to say that this is how it is going to happen. Always have a plan B. That is one aspect. Second thing, if you are talking from the business perspective, invest in technology. Technology is going to be the future. Everything which is going to happen for future is going to be driven by the technology.
Yes.
Beyond AI, even the way how the things are going to happening, even for the health sector, hospitality sector. And so the investment in technology is always going to keep you up to date in terms of how the market is going to evolve. And that will also give you an edge about the other people who are going to be there in the industry around this. Yes. So think of having a positive aspects in terms of how you are going to invest, in where you are going to invest, and how you are going to catch up, because technology is going to change as well. So you have to catch up with also the technology so that you don't become redundant.
Right. My second 1 minute question. What is that one thing which we don't see that's coming? A hidden or a surprise? What is your thought?
See, Raji, what we have seen our life, in last 50 years, what has not happened that happened in last 5 years. Okay, we have seen COVID and this situation as well.
We should be proud a generation.
One we should be proud, but one thing which you need to say that uncertainty in today's age will be the part of life. Okay, so we might see something in 1 year which might have not seen in 5 years, and we might see in next month so how you can be agile, okay, at the personal level, as a professional level, as a family level, as a business level, is the key important aspect which need to taken into consideration. Whether you say plan B, whether you say more adaptive, whether you prepare yourself for the technology aspect, but you need to be agile. You need to always see what's coming, and you will not have time to prepare yourself or to get ready for that. You need to just embrace the change and move on and go on, rather than creating the anxiety. The expectation will not be a normal now. Okay, the changes, I can say, and uncertainty will be the normal way of living life.
Harish?
I would say there would be more of technology disruption, cyber crimes, which he mentioned initially, Jatin had mentioned initially. So these could be certain things which are not very obvious now, but it could increase. These are the things that could come in. And the other aspect is also more internal. It could not be, maybe not an external thing, because what happens is over a period, you see that this, there are issues in the leadership, in your entire probably business model and what you're doing for a company. There could be multiple issues, silent attrition of people and delayed decisions. These kind of things could happen, and maybe your customer, the way you're serving your customer is also not up to mark, and there could be a complete disruption of your model, of your business model. So these things also could just happen. So unless you keep checking yourself on having a resilient model, it becomes difficult. You may find yourself completely out of business, having a redundant model, thinking that today, okay, it is fine, but maybe tomorrow that is not what is a preference, a customer preference.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Nath?
Yeah. Giving importance to all the business segment. If you are thinking as a business person, in addition to what Harish and then Jatin has mentioned, growth is not only aspect that you have to take care of. You have to take care of your human resources. You have to take care of the technology. You have to take care of even the administrative processes, basically, which is going to be very critical beyond investing in technology, those areas. So you have to have a balanced way of having a strategy devised in a manner that you sustain a situation. God forbid a situation comes like this, you know how to survive. That is one thing. Have always a strategy of keeping up to the industry. You are having a way of working. Others are also there along with you. So you should have a unique way. Like people think that, okay, I will follow how others are doing. They try to do the same thing that others are doing, replicating themselves. But unless until you have anything unique, people will not come to you. So try and see how unique you can be in your profession or in your industry in which you are in. That is for the industry or entrepreneurs, I will suggest. For the common man, I will say, think of how you can take care of your health. But this is going to be the new beginning. What all has happened cannot become back time. We cannot go back in time. But at least we have a new beginning now. Things are going to be settling down for better. So at least let us see that. Let us take it as a new beginning and see how we can keep ourselves healthy, physically as well as mentally, so that we are ready for all the challenges which the world has to offer to us in the future.
Great. So that was the very first episode of New Normal, and with me was Harish Gopinath from KPMG, Jatin Karia from Thornton, and Nath Venkitachalam from BDO Bahrain. Well, I'm closing this with one question to all three of you. So I would say a sentence and please complete that for me. Next month, this day, what should every person in Bahrain be ready with, in your take?
They should be ready for the new future with same enthusiasm, if not more.
More. Okay. Interesting.
I would say keep moving and keep pushing yourself forward. Okay, find innovative solutions wherever you're getting stuck and stay safe.
Be positive, be innovative.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and views. And I'm sure there would be more questions, more concerns. Please feel free to share that with us. And I'm sure they are ready to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we just heard the risk is real. The reset is already happening. And the reality, well, it was very positive. It is not as scary as the noise that we hear about. But as they said, as the experts said, we need to be wary. We need to be cautious. Take every step with a thoughtful mind. So, see you with yet another set of experts, with yet another conversation with Raji Unnikrishnan. Signing off.